one of the questions that came up when we were during break was how you find out. If you know you have ideal clients, how many of you have ideal clients? So, good share of you, good. So how do you find out what's important to them? Ask them, good. How do you do it? How would you go about doing that?
I pick up the phone.
Good. Yeah, talk to them one-on-one, great. Good. Not everybody has the time to be able to do that. Some people aren't as comfortable.
Carl has a lot of time, so the people that don't have time can send them to him.
Wonderful. So what's another way for you to be able to find out what's some of those ways to be able to learn what's important to your ideal client?
We did testimonials, and I
Nice.
which I guess I would think that if they disagreed, they would say, no, you're not doing that.
Right.
And which is what, we wanted to describe our services as integrating well with what they're asking for, and it just also happened to be exactly what we want to deliver.
Sure.
Because that's the type of testimonial you want out of it.
Good. So those kinds of people on the ladder of loyalty are advocates. So those are people that are willing to pretty much, promote you when you ask. They're willing to give that testimonial. Those are important. Now, if we can move them from advocate to ideal client so that they can proactively go out and sing your praises, that's part of what we're going to talk about this afternoon.
One or two of those, and we'd love to have a lot more.
Right.
Where they are driving business.
Right. And that's one of the key differences, where they're proactively singing your praises and getting the word across. That's one of the key differences between an advocate and an ideal client. And you're right, not many businesses have a lot of ideal clients, but you sure would love to have more of them.
The only thing I'd add is that in one particular case, they are not an ideal client in any other regard other than they do a lot of referrals, and better clients do if they're a disaster kind of they refer.
Right. Well, at that point, then they're a referral resource. So what are a couple of the other ways that you can get the information about what your ideal client means? Yes?
A client survey?
Client survey. Good. How do you do that? Or how would you do that?
I would do a mailing.
Okay. So a direct response piece, just asking them to ask questions and send it back. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit about doing some of that and finding ways to be able to make it easy, but whether you do a mailing, possibility of, how many of you ever used SurveyMonkey before? I mean, it's a free service for within some measure of customers, a certain number, and it's relatively modest expense for over that. But SurveyMonkey gives you the opportunity to send out, a personalized email and then asking them to click a link and provide the information. So that's another piece, another tool that you can use. What's another way? How many of you ever done focus groups? Yeah, and that it can work very well. We had, 8, 10 people in a room. Probably not want to do it more than 10. A little bit of snacks, maybe a bottle or two of wine, and have everybody get a little sip and have someone other than the business owner asking a few key questions, like what do you like about working with XYZ accounting firm, and what don't you like about working with XYZ accounting firm? And if they could offer you any products or services that you would be interested that would help your business, what would those things be? Those questions and the answers to those questions will give you some great insight to your ideal client and what's important to them. So, anyway, so any other big takeaways from the morning?
Yeah.
A pen.
The magic pen.
The magic pen. It's amazing the tool, the power of the pen and the magic wand that it can become. So, for the next hour or so, we're going to be talking a little bit about the lower right-hand quadrant, which is customer service and customer care. Customer service is order management and order processing. So when someone says they want something, whether it's the monthly accounting services, so that the information is on time, the quality is there, pricing is right, the service is there. So that's the customer service portion of things, making sure that the orders that they have placed, that their expectations are met. On the customer care portion of things, we're talking about innovation of products and services, offering new things, client retention, and recovery if something goes wrong. How many have ever made a mistake with a client? Well, so we've got to find ways to be able to overcome that. And the ultimate goal here is customers for life. So where we have our client now, going from customer to client, and the distinction, let's talk a little bit about that. What is the difference between a customer and a client?
Customers a one-time relationship, clients ongoing.
Okay, could be. So you have tax customers, but you have business accounting clients? Are all your business accounting, are they all clients? Yeah? Okay, good. What else? What would be another difference between a customer and a client? We'll talk a little bit about that. Moving them from a client to a member. Doing something special that moves them, to make them feel part of something special. Moves them to become a member. And it's the customer care that makes that happen. It's building that relationship. It's that educational process. Customer care is adding value. Finding ways to fill their needs and wants. And very often needs and wants are two different things. Creating advocates. Finding people that are willing to sing your praises when you ask. And then ultimately moving to the ideal client where they sing your praises without being asked. So, customer versus client. What does a customer want? What does a customer want? They want a problem solved. Good. What else? Okay. Can you provide that? Can you? Good. So now what does a client want? They do. They want relationships, which is what PASBA is all about, is helping you build relationships with your people. Finding ways for us, and I guess one of the biggest definitions is that we've identified that customers are transactional. They're the ones that are probably there and with you because of price. We had a conversation outside where some older customers were sold by an outside salesperson, and the pricing is so far below the firm average that there's a question as to whether you even want to continue doing business with them or not. They're usually focused on price. McDonald's has customers. Right? You rarely build a relationship with somebody at McDonald's. So there is no good or bad, but for small business, if your business is going to grow, you're going to be able to enhance the value of that relationship by making them a client, learning more about what's important to them, what their needs and wants are. So if a customer is transactional, then a client is a relationship. So how do you build that relationship? What do you do? Loyalty. So you're loyal to them? And how do you show that?
Being there for whatever.
Right. So you become a trusted advisor. So one of the groups that Tim and I have been part of is we've got extraordinary resources in technology and banking relationships, in financial services and some of the others that are not part of the businesses that we have. But when our clients have a need for something, we'll say, we trust this person, we're going to connect you. That becomes very powerful because it lets them know we're not just here to be able to sell them accounting services or coaching and consulting services. It becomes really valuable because they know that if they need something, they can come to us. What else does a client want? Contact. Right. It's that personal communication. In our business, and I think probably with yours, you have, if you can treat that, you have a fiduciary responsibility to be able to make sure that they have everything they need that can add value. So if we make contact, we had, for those of you that had been through this computer thing early in April, we had, there was this old XP, they weren't supporting XP software anymore. So what we ended up doing is, I don't have the knowledge and expertise to be able to do that, but I knew it affected a number of our clients. Tim had the same thing. We had, and the whole group got together, we found an expert that can fix the problem, and we introduced them to someone who could show them how to be able to get it fixed. Those kinds of things are saying, we know this is important to your business, come and listen and gain the information. It becomes very powerful to let them know when your clients know that you have their best interest at heart, whether it's one-on-one, and it doesn't have to be necessarily business related. If you find out that they have grandchildren and there's something special going on that might be a win for them, send them the information. Shoot them a card. Just let them know that you care. Finding ways to let them know you care is a great way to move a customer to a client. The simple act, we were talking earlier about the focus group. The simple act of taking these customers, getting them together, and they may not always have to be your ideal clients. If you get a member or an advocate as part of your group and getting them in a room to let them know that you're asking for their input, asking them for ideas on how you can make your business better and serve their needs, just letting them know that you're important and that they're important to you can be very, very powerful. So, customer service, the principle is focus and satisfying with each transaction. Consistency is the number one way to be able to do that. How many of you have delivered a great quality product at least once? Only half the room. Now that's surprising. All right. But have you ever been to a restaurant, had a great meal, and went back, and maybe the meal or the service was kind of not quite so good? Did you go back a third time? Why? Because you don't know what you're going to get. Now, the prime example that comes to mind in consistency is McDonald's. I mean, it's certainly not the best hamburger in the world, but whether I eat it in Milwaukee or whether I haven't been to a McDonald's here yet, but I would assume that the hamburger is going to be the same because that's what they preach. Well, it is, but every one of those McDonald's does about $2.5 million a year. That's not a bad place to be.